What's up, guys? Your boy, 20K13. Gonna give you guys your wrestling news wrap up for August 17, 2015. WWE have big interest in Josh from Tough Enough. There are 3 men and 2 women left on WWE Tough Enough, which is set to wrap up in 2 weeks. While the fan favorite appears to be ZZ for the guys and Sarah for the girls, Josh Brady is the guy that WWE management seems to be impressed with the most. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Josh is a lock to be signed to a WWE developmental deal whether he wins the contract or not. It has been reported since the show started that Josh was a favorite of Vince McMahon after the first week. The reason Josh is so well liked is because he's a former football player that is 6'7" and 275 pounds. He also only 24 years old. So he's the prototypical big man that WWE loves, that is also young enough that they can definitely try to turn into a WWE superstar. It's not known if Josh will win the fan vote over ZZ and Tanner, but he really should. During most of the show, judges have praised him the most because he had a good grasp on a lot of the basic fundamental of pro wrestling. A guy like ZZ is popular because of his personality, although physically he's not close to the other. 1 man and 1 woman will win $250,000 plus a 1-year WWE contract. Based on those reports, it sure seems like WWE wants that winner to be the big man Josh Brady. Official preview for tonight's episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. WWE invaded Minneapolis, Minnesota as the target center for tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Here is what's on tap for tonight's show. What will happen when both The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar are in the same building? John Cena returns to hype his match with Seth Rollins, adding the final touches to the SummerSlam card. Will Sheamus cash in prior to SummerSlam? How will Lana get payback against Rusev and Summer Rae? Dolph Ziggler and Kane are expected to be back on tonight's show. The dark match that is being advertised: John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bray Wyatt in a 6-man tag team match. Superstars who are advertised: The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, Kane, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton, The Authority, John Cena, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Big Show, Bray Wyatt, and many more. Jim Ross says Triple H will be involved in Cena vs. Rollins match. Jim Ross predicted in a new blog entry on JRBarbecue.com that Triple H will play a major factor in the finish to John Cena match against Seth Rollins at this Sunday's SummerSlam event. The WWE Hall of Fame vote, and I quote, "I love to see clear-cut winners and losers in the main event at SummerSlam for the title vs. title match featuring Seth Rollins vs. John Cena. For some reason, I see Triple H getting involved in this match and not for any specific reason as to why." The Big Show to work limited schedule soon. During an interview with Digital Spy, the Big Show mentioned that sometime in the future he will start to work a limited schedule. He hopes the limited schedule will help his character make a bigger impact when he is featured on WWE programming. And I quote, "I think so. I think the uniqueness and the special thing that I bring to WWE is sometimes a little bit downplayed because you see me every week. I think that one of the things that will happen to me eventually, I'm going to start not being on our programming as much, not being on TV every week. Hopefully, when I do get a chance to come back, I'll be able to have a little bit more impact and a little bit more fun. That's part of what I should have been doing my whole career anyway. I think, quite frankly, I have been on TV too much, but part of it is necessarily in part of it ability. I'm able to work. I am able to get other talent over. I am able to carry storyline. When you're good at what you do, you're going to work. That's a good thing. But from the standpoint of being an attraction, sometimes too much isn't good. So it's a difficult fine line. I had a great career with it being very happy. I'm not complaining, but I think as I'm getting older, I'm 43 now. I don't want to be on the road 5 days a week anymore. I really don't. It's one of those kind of things. I have time left on my contract here, and I'll work that out And when that contract ends, I'll always be a part of WWE as long as they want me. But I think I'll go into more of a limited role. Who knows? Maybe even go into commentating or something like that. Maybe I could do pay-per-view commentating or something. Special event commentator. I only got 3 moves. I only had 3 moves for 20 years, so I don't think I can do much more. WWE announced new SummerSlam match. WWE had announced that Randy Orton vs. Sheamus will take place at SummerSlam on Sunday night. Update on Nikki Bella Raw status. As noted, Nikki Bella was pulled from WWE live event over the weekend as she is rehabbing a back injury. Nikki is indeed backstage at Raw tonight as she tweeted the following, and as of now she is scheduled to compete at SummerSlam. Backstage update on possible WWE and WWN live working relationship. A few weeks ago, we reported that WWN Live, the parent company of Evolve, and FIP might be establishing a working relationship with WWE, which would see WWE have first access to top indie talent. According to PWInsider.com, WWE archivist Ben Brown, who is said to be a Triple A guy, along with WWE Senior Vice President of Talent Development, Kenyon Kimmin, were backstage at the Evolve Live pay-per-view which took place in Queens, New York City over the weekend. Additionally, Evolve booker Gabe Papalicki will be backstage at this weekend WWE NXT TakeOver event in Brooklyn. Backstage update on The Rock possibly appearing at SummerSlam. Last week, Roman Reigns teased an interview that The Rock might be appearing at SummerSlam on Sunday night, and speculation has been abound since Reigns' comments surfaced regarding The Rock possibly appearing at this year's big pay-per-view. F4WOnline.com is now reporting that there had been rumblings of The Rock appearing at SummerSlam prior to Roman Reigns teasing Rock appearing at the event. This does not confirm Rock will indeed be at SummerSlam, however, but the idea has at least been discussed by WWE officials. As of now, as The Rock is planning to appear at SummerSlam, the only people who would know about it are Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, Vince McMahon, and Rock himself. More details on the Triple H and China confrontation at Roddy Piper's funeral. China WWE title run story called Pure Fantasy. As noted, Sean X-Pac Waltman took to Twitter following Roddy Piper's funeral last week and claimed China confronted Triple H at Piper's funeral and she nearly had to be escorted out by police. China later posted a video refuting Waltman's claim and said the interaction between her and Triple H was in no way confrontational. Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer message board that the incident was not actually a confrontation, but rather China approaching Triple H after he had left to apologize to him for things that had happened in the past. Meltzer noted she said one sentence to Triple H, and the impression given is the entire exchange lasted no more than about 20 seconds. Triple H was reportedly worried that someone might have been secretly filming him in China for her upcoming documentary, but there was no real incident between the two. In related news, China recently claimed there were plans in place for her to win the WWE title during her run in the company, but it didn't happen as she chose to do Playboy instead. Meltzer called China's story pure fantasy and added there were never plans in WWE for China to win the WWE title. More details on Steve Austin traveling to New York for SummerSlam. We reported over the weekend that WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin is being brought into New York by WWE for SummerSlam weekend. However, he is not expected to be appearing on the pay-per-view. Instead, Austin is being brought in for other weekend events and appearances, report PWInsider.com. 2K Sports has a big media event being held in New York this weekend to promote WWE 2K16, on which Austin is the cover star. So it's likely that is the event for which Austin is being brought to New York. 12 more superstars revealed for WWE 2K16. updated roster plus video footage of Kevin Owens' ring entrance. IGN.com has released 19 more WWE 2K16 roster names, and below is the updated video game roster along with video footage of Kevin Owens' ring entrance. Adam Rose, Neville, Bo Dallas, Brie Bella, Brock Lesnar, Goldust, Heath Slater, Hideo Itami, Jack Swagger, Kevin Owens, Nikki Bella, Ric Flair, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Stardust, Sting, Tyler Breeze, The Ultimate Warrior, Zack Ryder, Booker T, Colonel Mufasa, Emma, Eva Marie, General Adnan, Kalisto, Kane, Lord Steven Regal, Sin Cara, Summer Rae, Tamina Snuka, Triple H, Steve Austin, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, Bad News Barrett, Paige, Finn Balor, Alexa Bliss, The Rock, Andre the Giant. Backstage news on Justin Liger appearing at WWE NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. According to PWInsider.com, Justin Liger will be staying the entire week in the U.S. and will be watching SummerSlam on Sunday night following NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Liger will not be appearing on the SummerSlam pay-per-view itself, but he will be in attendance watching. Liger got the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn booking as William Regal called him and invited him to be a part of the event. Liger agreed as it will give him the opportunity to finally make his WWE debut, and he gets to spend a week in the U.S., a country he loves to visit. Liger will be facing Tyler Breeze in a singles match at WWE NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. WWE diva Lana responds to numerous fans criticizing her for not wrestling. In a post on Instagram, Lana was asked about the fans who only like her because of how she looks and the fact that she doesn't wrestle. The fans vote, and I quote, "Lana, do you find it awkward how many people only like you because they think you hot rather than enjoy your character, and that we yet to see you do anything to give yourself a legacy, but that's all you ever post about? I think your character seems a sweet woman. But until you wrestle, I don't see how anyone can adore you other than how you look, because like we don't see much of your character other than your character escaping a toxic relationship and growing stronger and more confident." Lana replied, and I quote, "Awkward. No, I find it exceptionally awesome what I do. Are you saying Paul Heyman hasn't created one of the most epic legacies? He will be remembered more than 90% of women and men that ever wrestled in WWE. How about Stephanie McMahon? She picked wisely when to wrestle and when not to wrestle. I am not here to be adored, and I am here to help create compelling stories. I don't have to fight and wrestle every day because I am that good at what I do. This is WWE World Wrestling Entertainment, and I bring the Big E to the WWE. And thank you. If I can help one person stand up for themselves and leave a toxic relationship, then my story is more than worthwhile. Thank you." And finally, Paul Heyman revealed a behind-the-scenes story on the late Dusty Rhodes and more. In an interview with Fox Sports, Paul Heyman told a story about sneaking into an NWA production meeting during the 1980s and Dusty Rhodes reacting to it after he caught him. He said, and I quote, "I snuck in early, sat in the back row with a baseball hat on so I wouldn't get noticed because I wanted to learn. I was 18 years old. Yes, he noticed me and called me outside the room. He said, 'What are you doing here?' And I said, 'I'm here to learn from you.' He said, 'You picked the right person because I'm a stupid genius baby.' He told me to go back in the room. He went to the bathroom and then came back and continued the production meeting." He added that Dusty eventually approached him later and asked what he learned. He said, "I noticed the way you formatted the show." He liked it and said the next time I was at one of the event to feel free to join his production meeting. I wasn't there all the time because they weren't based out of New York. And I was. But I would try to make it anytime they had a pay-per-view on TV. When they had a pay-per-view or TV, I grabbed the bull by the horn and ended up sitting in the front row. Well, that's it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Peace.